Hey, Light here again, and we're going to go over authentication. So in this little app, you can register, log in, and then if you're logged in, do me. And once you log in, you can access this protected route. So I'm going to show you authentication. Okay, let's get started. So we're using MongDB and Express.js for Node in this thing. And in general, you're going to create a session. You're going to check to see if the session exists when you're doing the login. And then if you're logging out, you're going to destroy your session. So let's get into things. Okay, and here we're using Express Session. So I initialized session middleware. We're using CSRF protection. So CSRF, that means that people can abuse when you're logged in to go to different routes. So you don't want people to be able to mess with your routes. So you have a CSRF token. Okay, so I'm protecting it with the middleware, and then down here I'm getting the CSRF token for every single request, and then we have our main routes. Okay, so we're connected to the database like last time, and here I created a user model with an email and password. Cool. So let's go to the routes and the views, because that's the main thing. And I'm going to focus on the register and log in. So the register, we've seen this before. Okay, so we have our post request, post to register. Name for email is the name. We're going to send the name in the data. We're going to send the password and confirm password. And then we're also sending our CSRF token. So, with the value of CSRF token, so that we don't have hackers exploiting our sessions. Okay, so we go back to register, we do our validation, we check if our email is really an email, and that it's not some hacker who's trying to mess with our data. Same with the password, and same with the confirm password. And then we check the result. If there's errors, so if not errors is empty, then we're gonna return the register with our error messages, so errors.errors. Okay, if we pass that, we're gonna get our email, password, and confirm password, and we're gonna check to see if our password is equal to our confirmed password, and if it's not, we're gonna add the errors and re-render the page. Then we're gonna do basic CRUD and see if our existing user is already there. If it's not, we're going to redirect it to the sign up. Then we're going to hash our password. Then we're going to create our, do the basic CRUD, creating a new user with our email as email, and then our password as the hashed password. And then we're going to redirect to login. Okay, so basic CRUD for this one. The only thing that was a little different is that we had a little more validation. So we checked to see if the passwords were correct, if they matched. We checked to see if there's an existing user. And then after that, we hashed our password using a bcrypt so that we don't have plain text passwords in our database. Okay, so now here's the actual authentication. And we're using session authentication. Another thing is JWT authentication, but pretty much there's data in the server that says if you're logged in or not, and you set the session is the data. So you set a session or a JWT token to say that someone's logged in, and that's it. So when we log in, we go to this login. I'm going to go to the view really quick, log in. You can see we're sending the email, name, email. We're sending the password, and then again the CSRF token to make sure that things are secure and they can't do CSRF attacks. Okay, and down here we're outputting the errors if there's errors. So we're sending this data to this route, post login, and again we're doing the validation. We're checking, see if it's a good email, good password. Checking to see if it goes through. If it doesn't go through, it's going to re-render. Then we're getting the email from the body, the request. Same with the password. And then we're going to try to see. We're going to do CRUD again. Read. So we're going to find the user by the email. See, email. Now, if we don't have a user, we're going to go to the login page and say, re-render the login page and say, give an error message that the user doesn't exist. If they do match, then we're going to use bcrypt and comparing the password that they passed in to the hashed password in the database. If it does match, then we're going to create our session. So our session is logged in. We set it to true. And then we're setting the user to the user. So that's our session. And then we're going to the protected page. Cool. So again, when you're logging in, you have to create the session when they log in. And then, so we did that. We created the session. And then let's go to the protected page. Protected. And go to index. Here's the CSRF token. Ah, yes, you're right. Okay. So we're using the auth middleware. Okay, to check to see if the session is set when we go to it. Okay. So auth, it's a function that says if rec.session is not logged in, then we're going to go to the login page, and that's it. So it's checking our session to see if it's logged in. In our protected page, you can see we go to the route, and then before we have our main controller, we go through this auth function, and that's the auth middleware. We import it up here. Cool, so it's going through the auth middleware, and we go to main. I logged in with, no, I guess I didn't. So me, and the password, and bam, the session's been created. We have a session, so we can go to the protected page. Awesome, see? Our session's there. Okay. Now, when we go to the log out, when we click the log out button, it goes here and it destroys our session, rec.session.destroy. So if we log out, our session's destroyed. We try to go to main, it redirects to login because of the middleware that says to redirect to login when the session's not there. Okay, I really hope that was helpful. Remember, again, when you're logging in, you have to create the session. And if you're logging out, you have to destroy the session. And you have to have the middleware to see if the session exists when given to protected routes. And then remember, CSRF protection. We'll go back to that in the index.js, the main thing. It's up here, it checks the, so it's also another middleware, but it checks it on every single route, not just like our protected routes. See, like in here we had the auth here, that's just on one route. With our CSRF token, it's on every single route that it checks that. Anyway, best of luck, hope you understand authentication now.